Hi everyone! Apple TV has been building a solid slate of content, and For All Mankind is one of them. I'm doing a rewatch of all four seasons. I'm now at season number 3, and we're in for a race to Mars. My name is Sasha, and this is my recap and review. As always, I'm gonna start with a spoiler warning. If you haven't seen season number 3, I would suggest you to put this video on pause and go watch it. Season 3 starts with a news clipping montage that shows what happened in the time jump between Season 2 and Season 3. We get to know that Margaret Thatcher was assassinated in an IRA bombing, Michael Jordan was drafted by the Portland Trail Blazers. The Outpost has become a global franchise brand. We also get to know that Ellen Wilson begins a political career, which sets her up to run against Bill Clinton. There's a Moon Treaty, which divides the moon between the USSR and the USA. Lastly, the US declare its goal to reach Mars. Now, the season actually starts in space for the soft opening of the Polaris Hotel, a venture that is co-owned by Karen. For the occasion, we have Danny Stevens' wedding. Everything is going fine until space debris hits the hotel and cripples it. Danny becomes a hero and saves the day. Unfortunately, there are still casualties, including Karen's co owner. Following the incident, Karen is forced to sell the hotel and she sells it to Helios Corporation. Helios' purchase of the Polaris Hotel was to retrofit their nuclear fusion engine on it and be ready for a mission to Mars. NASA names Daniel Poole as the commander for their Mars mission, and after Karen joined Helios, they name Ed Baldwin as the commander for Helios mission. With that, Helios, NASA, and Roscosmos all were ready to launch for Mars. Jimmy Stevens becomes disconnected from his family legacy and slowly but surely gets pulled into the anti-NASA conspiracy, especially after the death of his parent at the end of season 2. Astronaut Will Tyler's coming out as gay will cause a stir, leading to the implementation of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy and prompts President Ellen to confront her own past and love life. The latter half of the season focuses on the complexities of life on Mars, including Danny Stevens' downward spiral and the repercussion it will have on the last few episodes. I'm not going to go into further details, you will have to watch to know more. What I like about the third season of For All Mankind is that the series still has a strong production design and visual effects immersing us viewers to the space environment. The writers managed to expand on its own alternate history while still mirroring the real life history. For example, we still have a sex scandal with an intern, the Oval Office tape, Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Finally, the inclusion of commercial interests in Helios brings us away from the Cold War binary that we had in the first 2 seasons, and it gives us a 3-way race to Mars. What I don't like about season 3 of All Mankind is that the execution of it is overall uneven. It holds it back from reaching the full potential they could have had. It's even more obvious when you look at the story they had to work with, A Race to Mars. Yes, they had one, but it was short and over with, and the race between the US, the USSR, and Helios. And then Wilson, politicals and personal storylines should have been developed even more than they had. And they could even add merge it with Will's coming out story to make it a big side storyline. Finally, Jimmy's radicalization and anti NASA subplot feels underdeveloped. It feels like it was just a way to throw in the setup for the final explosion at the end of the season. In terms of acting, my 3 stars would go as follow. In third position would be Chantal Van Santen as Karen Baldwin. In second position would be Joel Kinnaman as Ed Baldwin. And in first position would be Chris Marshall as Daniel Poole. Season 3 of All Mankind delivers a captivating chapter of the series. However, its weakness and failure to make the most of its potential leaves it behind the first 2 seasons in my own ranking. That said, it's definitely worth the watch. If you enjoyed this, give it a like and subscribe. Ciao.